What up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd Report. My name is Lewis. We're going to be talking about the latest updates with the incident with Charlie, Kirk, and join me right after this little countdown. All right, folks, we have major updates. Okay, there are major updates, but then I don't know. I feel like I'm in regards to the manhunt because there's a manhunt now. I feel like there's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Let me know if you all could see this. Bear with me. I have a lot of stuff I have to go through. I have a lot of things to show you. New videos, press conference, opinion pieces, people going crazy on the internet. A lot of people are showing their true colors, being very, very evil. But there's also a counter to that. There's people being good and calling out the evil. And that's good. What do I consider evil? Man, listen. Being happy because this happened, because you don't like a person's what they said, is ridiculous, especially when you're trying to call yourself an anti-fascist, right? That's exactly what they do. Anyways, we'll discuss that moving forward. I want to appreciate everybody who's in here. Thank you so much for joining me here with this coverage. We're waiting for a raid with Popcorn Planet. Sit back. I'm really curious to know what you all think. This channel right here, I like to make it more about you all, your opinion. That's what I'm fascinated about. Most people, they'll do have their podcast and they'll speak at you. I want to speak with you. What are your thoughts? I have questions. I'm going to ask a few of them right now. Are you afraid to express your political views? I am. Are you afraid to go on Facebook and say, hey, man, you know, so violence against a person you disagree with, that a person that wasn't violent, is unacceptable? I'm afraid to post that. And have you gone on like a Facebook and seen how many happy faces are where there was this thing was initially reported? Did you see how many people are with the happy face rejoicing that this happened? I'm also going to get into a little bit of the tough question. Is this gonna look? I'm not going to beat around the bush. All right. You want me to be honest? Say yes or no in the comments. You want me to be just like a shill? I'm sorry. I don't even know if I could be a shill and just tell you what you want to hear, or tiptoe around, the ice. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's be honest. Have both sides demonize the other, or all sides demonize the other? Yes. Why do they do that? Because they want political power. They use us as pawns. That's my opinion. Have both sides demonized each other? Yes. But I'm going to tell you right now, for the adults in the room, this is looking very, very, very bad for the Democrats, mostly. You could get upset at me for saying that. It doesn't mean I agree with it, but I was scrolling through my social media and I have never, ever, ever seen so many people saying they're going to turn, that they don't like the other party. And these are people that are not traditionally part of that group or that vote that way. Again, for the mature people. And if it was the other way, I tell you too, this looks bad on the Republicans. But it doesn't. And I am scared because the checks and balances are off. The checks and balances are off. Folks, welcome to Nerd Report. We just got a raid. We got a raid here from Popcorn Planet. I want to thank Andy Signor for having a beautiful channel that I'm part of a lot. Kim, who is the backbone, bringing in the topics, and the public there who are now here right now. Thank you very much. Hit that one if you're from Popcorn Planet. Double check that you are subscribed. YouTube is unsubscribing people from my channel. Double check that you are subscribed. I go live a lot. I have a lot of standalones. Okay. Again, I want here, like I said, if you missed it, for the people back there, I want to speak with you, not at you. I want this to be a roundtable discussion. I have asked the question, are you all afraid to express your political ideas? Even if your political idea is logical, your voice may get twisted. Your post may get twisted. Are you afraid? Has this made you more afraid to express your political ideas publicly? Yes or no? If it hasn't, good. But you want me to be honest? It has made me more afraid. And I don't think I'm alone. But I'm glad most of you are not afraid. Do you feel this incident is meant to shut up free speech? We don't know much about the person of interest. Now, what do I have in store here? We're going to go over the press conference. We're going to go over new footage. And I'm going to show you his picture, which is right here. I'm assuming it's a he, okay? Okay. I feel like I'm the only person, because people were analyzing, I feel like I'm the only person that noticed that his cap, the cap he's wearing is a John Summit, has a John Summit logo. John Summit is an EDM artist. It's kind of rare. That logo seems to be a John Summit hat. Okay. There's footage of him limping. There's new footage of him limping. Shooter is actually at large. Is that crazy? Do you think he's going to get caught? Yes or no? Do you think he's going to get caught? I don't know. Have you seen the videos of people celebrating this? I am disgusted. I'm disgusted. I am. Let's turn to, okay. We saw the video. Here's the video, the newest video via a webcam before, this is before the you know what. And you see how this platform has us, that we have to use keywords, the you know what. Okay, have you seen this video? I'm gonna play it again. All right, big screen right there. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh shoot. There he is. This video is via TMZ. So it is what it is. They have their logo there. I know some people think the rifle is in his leg, on his leg, hidden in the leg, and that's why he's limping. And that looks like the other image. Do you guys think this is him? Yes or no? Do you guys think this is him? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Do you guys think this is him? And that's him again. This is after it. Now he's running. Now he's running. He's going to come out through the back. Wait for it. He's going to come out through here. This is brand new footage, folks. There he is. All right. That's who they suspect is him. Do you all think it's him? It's the guy? More footage here. Security cam. This is everywhere now. This is everywhere now. All right. So let's go to this again. This is the actual footage they showed earlier. And then we're going to go. We're going to be going to the press conference. Folks, we're going to be checking out the press conference to see what happened. And feel free to let us know what you think. Is this a brand new press conference? I think there was a brand new press conference. And again, your opinions are very valuable to me. Okay, let's do it.
I like the seal. Test.
Let's see. Let me see if I can get one that's loud.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
This one seems kind of loud. All right, this is today's press conference. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Good afternoon, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
this is yesterday's. Let's go over this one.
Thank you for
first.
being here. At this press conference, we will first hear
See how
from
things have
Utah
evolved.
Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bo Mason. Then we'll hear from the FBI Special Agent in Charge, Robert Bowles. We'll then hear from Utah Valley University Vice President Val Peterson, who's been in touch with President Jimenez. And then we'll hear from Governor Cox. I'll turn the time over to Commissioner Mason.
Maybe there was only one.
Hello, everyone.
Today's was.
I'm Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. Today at approximately 12:20 Mountain Standard Time, political influencer Charlie Kirk was shot in an event at the Utah Valley University. He was taken by private vehicle to Timpanogos Hospital, where he later passed. The Utah Department of Public Safety will be co-leading this criminal investigation to find this killer, along with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We are working in unison with the County Sheriff's Office, the local police department, and the University Police Department, all of which.
Yeah, no reply says that the footage, the image I showed earlier, there is an enhanced AI version of it. I'll go back and tell you which one it is. Be careful. A lot of AI out there. A lot of AI. Thanks for the info.
Been very cooperative and fully engaged in this process. Shortly after the shooting, we did have a suspect in custody, George Zinn, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect.
Okay, Matt. Let's see what you have to say, folks. Again, I'm doing this on the fly, and I think this is directed at me. Let's see what it is. You said you want to speak with us and not at us, but when I made an argument that a political assassination or T is different than a random M that happens everywhere in the U.S., what is your point? I don't know what you're saying here. Okay, so when I made the argument that a political assassination or T is different than a random ending that happens everywhere. Okay, so what do you want me to do? Did I disagree with you? I don't know what you're with the. Let me see if there's a follow-up. Of course, it looks bad for D's, but the R's was implicated. Vanga would just say the R was really. Now, listen. If you want to play I'm not saying MAGA is right or wrong, or the blues or the pro Kamala Harris people are right or wrong. I'm saying that if you're a mature person, I'm telling you as my opinion that I've seen, don't shoot the messenger, no pun intended. The Democrats are losing their support badly. Now, if you want to ignore that, that's fine. I'm not asking you to pay attention to it or not. I'm not saying that. You could disagree with me, but holy cow, man, when I'm scrolling through the internet and I'm seeing nonstop women in their 20s that are brown, black, and white saying they want no part of the party, that's the main demographic of the Democratic Party. Now, is it fair they're getting the brunt of this? Maybe not. Okay? But if you want to live, I'm talking with you, if you want to live in Mary Poppins world where things are wrong, where things are like sugar-coated, not wrong, go ahead. I'm just telling you like it is. Press 1 if you've seen that too, because holy cow, man. Holy cow. The migration to the Republican Party is nuts. You know what I mean? People think this because of celebrating the ending of Kirk is causing people to think that's what the party's about. I'm not saying it's fair, but I'm seeing everybody go there. Now, you're getting mad at me for saying that? Okay. It's not going to fix that. I'm actually scared of that because I personally want to see a Democrat come out and challenge Trump. I want to see somebody challenge the ideas. That's checks and balances. It's not my fault. I'm being honest, yes. I'm being honest with what I think. It doesn't mean I'm right, but again, is the demographic of the Democratic Party mostly younger voters, female voters, minority voters? And when I'm scrolling through the internet and I'm seeing hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of people saying they're done with them, and they somehow think this is something to do with them, I'm just telling you what's going on. So, you know.
And was not an accurate person of interest. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice. We do still have an active investigation for the person of interest. This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack towards one individual. This is a tragic moment in our state and in our country. As we heal, we encourage everyone who is struggling with news of the incident to call 988, our state mental health crisis line. In addition to that, our partners with the FBI will also be discussing other ways we can communicate through the public for tips.
And I apologize to interrupt here because, again, we're having I'm trying to get an open discussion here. Matt. I don't know. I could have a more open conversation with you here. I'm not in control of Popcorn Planet. I'm just a guest there. Andy decides who goes on, how long, and stuff like that. He runs it the way, he runs it, and I run it the way I want it. So here I could highlight your stuff and go back and forth with you. But you said, Lewis, I said he wants to speak with us, but over at Andy's channel, when I said that Charlie is a murder and the coverage is much different than the Ukraine woman. And it's a murder. The folks, press 1 if you think the Ukrainian woman thing was a murder. I think it was a murder. I don't think it was politically motivated, but it was a murder. Both were murders.
And other information. Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the FBI, we extend our sincerest condolences to the family and friends of Charlie Kirk. Our thoughts are also with the people who witnessed this traumatic event. We know that what you experienced was very difficult. Our thoughts are with you as well. As soon as we heard about the shooting, special agents and personnel from the Salt Lake field office responded immediately.
Is the volume okay with this,
full
gentlemen?
Resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside with our partners. We are working on setting up a digital media tip line, and as soon as it's established, we'll get that information out to everyone. I know there's a lot of questions. This is very much an active case, and this investigation is in its early stages. We are following all the leads and all the evidence. If anyone has any information, please report it to the FBI or local law enforcement.
Gosh, man, it seems like they don't know anything at this point.
Thank you.
On behalf of President Tumenez, who we've been communicating with, and she's on her way back right now, I say that on behalf of Utah Valley University, we are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing of Charlie Kirk. We express our sincere condolences to the Kirk family.
Now I'm gonna be pausing and reacting and like, because things, it's very, this situation brings random thoughts to people's minds spontaneously. So unfortunately I could express it with you all. Ultimately, what's happening with kids in schools is worse. If there is a worse. Little kids, this is happening to them in schools and in churches. The reason why a lot of people don't talk about it is because we didn't see it. And we don't know them. We feel like we know Charlie, or people feel like they know Charlie personally, right? But both are evil. And both need to be stopped. Okay?
We grieve with our students, faculty, and staff who bore witness to this unspeakable tragedy. He was invited by the student group Turning Point USA to speak on our campus. We firmly believe that UVU is a place to share ideas and to debate openly and respectfully. Any attempt to infringe on those rights has no place here. We do not condone any form of violence at UVU and seek to make our campus a safe place for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this dark and tragic occasion. I want to thank our law enforcement officers who are leading this investigation, starting with Chief Long and his response here. with the UVU Police Department. We're grateful for your leadership and your team. And
That's the ironic thing. Like, no reply says, to be fair, Charlie Kirk was unalived at a school shooting. Yes. And the people that are anti-school shooting are the same ones celebrating this. Not all of them, but there is a overlap in that group. Isn't that weird?
again, to the speakers that you've just heard from who are co-leading this investigation. I also want to recognize Sheriff Mike Smith, who has been an invaluable partner as this investigation moves forward. I've been in touch with President Trump, with FBI Director Kash Patel. We are completely aligned with our state and federal partners as we work through this case. Now, this is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation.
Damien says now America is being targeted for freedom of speech. Yes. And I feel a lot of that is propaganda that has been taken for years. And a lot of people in schools, they're not being taught what the country's about. They're only being taught the bad parts. They're not being taught that we have freedom of speech. They don't understand that as part of it. And that you can't target people for their speech.
And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250.
They teach in school George Washington owned slaves. That's all they teach, the bad part.
Years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place.
Damien says in the UK, we're being targeted. In the UK, it's being targeted. We can't post on Facebook or social media in case it offends someone and they take it to the police. You can't have differences of opinion anymore. The UK is in trouble, man. And they're not other countries are not laughing at us, man. That's bullcrap. They're experiencing the same shit we are. They're arresting 12-year-old little girls for trying to fight away attackers. The people that are celebrating his death is disgusting and disrespectful to his family and friends. Yes, not only that, Elm Street, you're celebrating fascism. And there's no, I saw a psychologist on a video saying, oh, I know why people are not sympathetic. Bro, you're celebrating fascism then? You're on the fence? Because that's what fascists do. They bang people that they don't like what they say. Press 1 if you think it's fascist what happened to Charlie Kirk if it was for his speech. Press 1 if that's a fascist characteristic to end someone because you don't like what they said. Press 2 if you think I'm wrong.
Where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is
Want to come in, Atomic Wire? Let me know.
foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
So, Slant, you want to come in?
Our nation is broken. We've had political assassinations recently in Minnesota. We had an attempted assassination on the governor of Pennsylvania.
I thought no one was mentioning those attempts. Here he is. He's mentioning them.
And we had an attempted assassination on the presidential candidate and former president of the United States, and now current president of the United States. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken. Nothing I can say.
By the way, folks, I'm dropping the invite link there for Atomic Wire and Latino Slant. Latino Slant, I do not have access to X right now. So please use this link to come in. It's for Latino Slant and Atomic Wire. Let them know. The link I just dropped.
Can bring back Charlie Kirk. Our hearts are broken. We mourn with his wife, his children, his family, his friends. We mourn as a nation. If anyone in the sound of my voice celebrated even a little bit at the news of this shooting, I would beg you to look in the mirror and to see if you can find a better angel in there somewhere.
Look, regardless of what you thought of the man, and did he say hurtful things? I'm not debating whether or not he did or not. But was he ever physically violent? I can't tell he was. If you celebrated this, you're celebrating fascism.
I don't care what his politics are. I care that he was an American. We desperately need our country. We desperately need leaders in our country. But more than the leaders, we just need every single person in this country to think about where we are and where we want to be. To ask ourselves, is this it? Is this what 250 years has wrought on us?
No.
I pray that that's not the case. I pray that those who hated what Charlie Cook stood for will put down their social media and their pens and pray for his family, and that all of us will try to find a way to stop hating our fellow Americans. With that, we're happy to take a few questions.
The FBI director is posting that a suspect is in custody. I would just like clarification. Do you or do you not have a suspected shooter in custody?
We have a person of interest in custody that
What
is being
happened to
interviewed
that?
right now.
And how
We
did
do-
that come about?
That is not George Sand.
That is not George Sandler. That is correct.
What if I told you there's a place so magical?
Or looking for another shooter or anybody else related to this?
Yes, we are actively looking for anyone and everyone who has any possible information relating to the shooting.
Can you tell us details about the suspect being taken into custody? Where, how long ago?
We cannot at this point, but we will get you that information when we can.
Is there believed to be a second individual involved in the shooting?
At this point, there is no information that would lead us to believe that there is a second person involved.
Can you guys talk about the possible shooter?
Do you want to talk about what we know there? Yeah.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what the quality of that is. But we do know dressed in all dark clothing, but we don't have a much better description other than that.
Where do you think the shot came from?
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a potentially from a roof. Yes, a longer distance shot from a roof.
So to clarify, with the security camera footage you have and the person of interest that's in custody, does that match up?
That's what we're trying to decipher right now.
So did FBI or DHS have anything on the threat board this morning?
I can't speak.
I'll just say that the investigation is ongoing, and as soon as we have further information, we will be sure to release it.
Any indication?
This is information from yesterday, by the way.
As of now, I can't comment on any of that.
Can you talk a little about the security of the event itself? Who was there security-wise and what happens on these kind of events?
So my name is Jeff Long. I'm the police chief here at UVU.
So I'm
And I'll
going to
tell
show
you
you
now,
video
we're
right
devastated.
now. JD Vance helps load Charlie Kirk's casket into Air Force Two. This is going to be sad. Look at this. Background. JD Vance, once again, if you just got here, JD Vance. And I didn't know he was that tall, but he's escorting the casket into Air Force Two. I want to take this moment to welcome in Latino Slant. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing? How you doing, brother?
I mean, considering the circumstances, I'm very frustrated because I think this thing really came in a very bad point because the day before I was really looking into the Ukrainian woman.
Yes.
And I apologize. Her name Ivianka. I don't want to ruin her name, but it's because I half watch it, because it's hard to watch, man. I had. Yeah. And then the next day, this, and then seeing people celebrate it. But I don't want to corrupt what you have to say because I haven't spoken to you.
Yes.
And I want to know what you have to say without giving you my opinion because I don't want you to agree or disagree or whatever. I want it to be raw. What are your thoughts, Latino Slant, about everything that's been going on?
Well, it's all very overwhelming, right? And for myself, and hello to everyone in your chat. God bless everybody in the chat. It's good to see everyone. For myself, it's on different levels in regards to our country, people, civil discourse, you know, and running our channels. I pride myself on my channel. As you know, Lewis, we have on different opinions on at the same time. It's like, you know, we got to be able, always be able to find a common place, a common ground, and you got to practice that. It's not easy. It's not easy, and that's one of the things I admired about Charlie. Most of the time, I just did not agree with him, but it's like, boy, you know what balls this guy has to, you know, to really practice that freedom of speech on a debate level, just on a civil arena where it's just like, here's a mic, tell me how I'm wrong, let's talk. So yeah. I was thinking about this a little bit more. You know, this guy's not an elected official. This man for the right, I was thinking about this. He is a civil leader. Like he meant a lot to a lot of people on that side. And he brought in a lot of people. He brought in a lot of voters as well. Highly influential. And you know, this is this. Then I think the history of our nation. This is nothing new, unfortunately.
No.
We kill our leaders. You know, forget the presidents and elected officials. I'm just talking about these leaders on the left and right who are trying. You know, I think what they're trying to do is make our country better. So, the boy, you know, the man lived it, and unfortunately, it was horrific. Absolutely horrific, man.
I want to take this moment also to bring my buddy Robert Sanchez as well. There's a little bit of an echo on your side. I had to mute you a little bit, but him and I, like, we discussed this stuff. He's actually the one that told me what happened before anyone. Like, I was one of the first person to report it. And honestly, when he called me and told me, I was like, what? Is this fake? Because you have to double check everything, right? Robert, welcome to the channel. What are your thoughts? You're giving me a little bit of an echo.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm driving, but I wanted to call in.
What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, listen, it's an unfortunate time for our country because regardless what people might think about Charlie, he never said anything evil. You hear people saying, oh, he was a bigot or he was this. Listen, he had the same opinions that most of our grandparents and our parents have, right? His opinions are pretty much just straight Christianity, right? It's not like he was saying anything out of line. And I challenge anyone to say, in full context, what did he say that was so bad, right? You might not agree with everything. Hell, you and I, Louis, we're friends and we don't agree about everything. You know, I got friends that are absolute liberals, you know, like borderline pinko commies, right? But I'm still friends with them because we're able to separate the discourse, but it's gotten so out of hand, you know, and it's sad because for the people who think it's okay or celebrate, you know, his passing, you know, you're sick. Right? You're a sick individual. It's like saying, oh, yeah, I heard that person got RAPE and that's okay because I didn't like him. There's no different from that, right? Celebrating someone's demise like that is you have to be a sick individual, right? You have to be a sick individual. And I'm hoping because, you know, I posted something on my social media. I'm not a Christian, okay? I'm not saying I'm against Christians, but I don't live my life like a Christian. I'm not perfect, okay? And the thing is that, you know, Charlie Kirk might have forgiven these people because he was a true Christian, okay? Me, I'm not a Christian. I don't have to forgive anyone, and I'm really upset. I'm angry about this. I'm angry about this because this man left his 2 children, and his wife for doing something that, we should applaud: free speech. It's unfortunate, and there's reports out there right now too, Louis, that his wife and his kids were there, and I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but there's a report that when the shot happened, his daughter tried to run to her father because she was afraid of the loud noise.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and I'm sorry, man. This is horrendous. This is horrible. We're better than this as Americans, And people are like saying, "Oh, it's the problems are the guns." No, the problem is the hate. Because I got 20 guns at home and they're in my gun safe. And guess what? They come out maybe once a year when I clean them or I go to the gun range. Nothing ever happens. Okay, the young Ukrainian woman that got got eliminated. Okay. She died because of a 3-inch blade. Okay. So if someone wants to do damage, okay, back in Boston during the Boston bombings, they used a pressure cooker. Okay. So what I'm saying is there is evil out there. And
let me give a slant a little bit here as well. Because I think you talk a lot about like immigration and stuff like that. I think on your channel, and you're a very fair person, Paulie, and you're level-headed. But let me ask you a question: isn't this why a lot of our parents, I don't know if yours, migrated to this country for freedom of speech and to see it be treated? You're muted, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, thank you for that.
Isn't freedom of speech one of the main things a lot of our parents and maybe us migrated to this country for it to have that we didn't have in our countries? That those other countries, you could get shot for speaking what you think is on your mind, right? Exactly like what happened to Charlie Kirk. Isn't this a slap in the face to what America is?
Oh, as far as the violent end, absolutely. As far as
not allowing people to express their opinions, it's fascism.
It's a very violent way to express yourself.
Yeah.
Robert says he's angry. He doesn't want to forgive. I totally understand that. I totally get the sentiment, but that whether you can blame it on all these exterior factors, media, video games or movies or in social media, the times, is that we've forgotten that we can't act on our impulses, and especially when we're disagreeing with people. And I know, it seems Robert's a really cool guy and I get his sentiment, and I have no doubt that, that you're not going to act on angry impulse. I know you're probably going to exercise it some other way, but people on that far right and people on that far left, their culture is exercising off emotion. Everything, every day, every post, everything you see, it's all emotion fueled. It's emotional gas. So there's different ways to combat that, but obviously that violent end was not it. So,
yeah, I don't think Robert was mentioning. Yeah, I think his point was that he has guns, but he would never use them against anyone. And stuff. So I think you two agree with that. Robert, what else? Do you have anything else to bounce off?
Yeah. I just wanted to say something real quick. Here's the issue. For 10 years, one side has been calling the other side, can we say that German word, or is that a bad thing?
You say Yahtzee.
Yeah, okay. The one side has been calling the other side Yahtzees for the last 10 years because they disagree with them. Okay. Everything, you're a Yahtzee. Everything, it's always, but which doesn't mean anything anymore, right? It doesn't mean anything. When you call someone a Yahtzee, it doesn't mean anything because it's not true. Just, we forget that, Germany removed guns, right? They had strict gun control. It didn't end really well for the Jews, right? Because it didn't, right? Because the Jews couldn't protect themselves, right? There's a reason why we have the Second Amendment. It's to protect ourselves, not just our homes, but protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. That's the number one reason why we have the Second Amendment. Do we have problems in this country? And there's a problems, and it comes from culture. Okay, we've had a breakdown of the nuclear family in the last 60 years. It's ridiculous how bad it is. People don't have their dads at home. You look at Chicago, and I guarantee you, most of these kids that are committing these crimes and committing all this mass chaos, okay, dad's probably not at home, right? And this is where it starts from. We have to start back, and we got to go back to family and fix the issues that we're having right now. And you know what? And that's what Charlie Kirk preached, right? Charlie Kirk preached, to be good, get married, have kids, okay? And they killed him for that, righty? To be a Christian, they killed him for that. He wasn't saying things like, what happens to people that are, that are gay in Middle Eastern countries, right? You can't be gay in a Middle Eastern country. Really bad things happen in countries like that. He wasn't saying anything like that. Okay. So the first thing is we have to stop calling people we disagree with, right? Yahtzees or commies. We have to stop that, right? At the end of the day, if we are Americans, if we're here in this country legally, we are Americans. We are citizens of this country, and we should be protecting our fellow Americans. Okay. And we might disagree with people. I got a lot of friends that disagree with. Louis, all the years I was in Hollywood, okay, heck, 90% of the people that we deal with, swing to the left. And I'm not even going to the right.
Well, just so you know, I'm gonna give a Latino slant. We're both Latino slant. We're both Paulie. We're both Cuban, so we tend to talk way too much over our time. But we apologize for that. But so
good.
Robert used to be part of, he had a big channel. I'll let him tell you his story on the side later when you guys talk. But he knows everybody we do, everyone, and everything. And let me ask you a question, Paulie, because you've been more on covering the films. You still cover Disney. I kind of stepped back from that. What is the sentiment with that side? Are they celebrating? Because I did see TMZ, it looked like they were celebrating. I seen some DC writers allegedly talking smack. What is the sentiment you've seen from Hollywood? Are they celebrating, the Hollywood people, or what are they doing?
No. I think if anything, for the majority of them, they're being publicly quiet. There are people who have mourned him with their tweets, from Chris Pratt to Jimmy Kimmel, even saying something live last night, which I thought was a very gentlemanly thing to do, which is kind of like what we used to do when a tragedy hits. I haven't scoured a bunch of bigger celebrities. I know Mel Gibson was pretty on fire yesterday. I remember that. I just want to address Melissa Jennings keeps asking us to report facts. Melissa, we're being asked how we feel right now. I'm sure Luis is gonna get back to facts and reporting. So have patience with us. Have patience with us, Melissa.
Also, I don't know. Listen.
Yeah.
Melissa, I know you have a channel here on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Well, the fact that you have a name here, you could post videos. So if you don't like the way we report, by all means, get that camera, face it at yourself, and report your facts.
Yeah.
That's what this show is right now.
I didn't know you had your own channel, Melissa. Yeah, please.
No, she can have her own channel.
Oh, gotcha.
So everyone that comes in to other people's channels and complains about the channel.
She wants facts. Listen, you're gonna have to be patient, Melissa. Let's all be grown-ups about this. So
the fact of the matter is, it's my channel, and right now I'm asking gentlemen what they think.
You're asking us how we feel, right? And that's the empathy part, is that we all feel horrible, and all have our takes. No one's talking facts right now. There's a fact right there. There's a video right there of the vice president hauling in the casket to Air Force Two. So there's a fact right there. There's a fact too that it's senseless, like all violence is. Whether you're a very well-known influencer or just a Joe Schmo taking a transit line to go home, you maybe just get off work and then you violence gets upon you. Didn't even ask for it. You're just someone who just came to this country. You're just happy to be in this country. You're just and living the American dream, and someone puts out your light. So bear with us. This is not. We're not talking about light stuff here. Red carpets.
To be fair, the FBI hasn't really given us a lot of facts. We could only
Yeah. Well, it is a fact that Cash and Dan they flew over to Utah today, just right now, right?
Yeah, which people are speculating that they caught the guy, but obviously they haven't because there's a $100,000 award. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is not me. Wait, are you on, Robert? What happened here?
Oh, what happened to Robert?
Yeah. Maybe look, I said this earlier, and it's not like I'm happy about it or either way. It's just a fact. I'm scrolling through social media and seeing nonstop the demographic that will usually votes Democrat saying they're done with the party. Democrats are getting blamed for this.
Hey, sorry about that.
Okay. Do you see that, Paulie? Or am I in a different space? The Democratic Party is in big trouble. They're getting blamed for this big time, which makes me think that a lot of Democrats need to speak up and disavow the celebrating of Charlie getting ended, right? Have you seen people saying they're fed up with the Democratic Party? Or is that just something I've stumbled across?
No. I think it's very interesting because I talked to Brandon Lorne Maxwell, who runs the Daily Cella, who's very based and balanced reporting that, his first reaction was that this cost the Democrats the election coming up. And I was like, really? And I was like, whoa. And we were just throwing these ideas back. And we came with a few thoughts, was that if anything, this is going to remind those people who left the Democratic Party, the independents also, anyone who's left the Democratic Party the last 5 years, why they did that is how the hardcore left has reacted to this in celebrating this, a public death, a public assassination on any level. That's going to remind voters, oh, yeah, this is how y'all acted too 5 years ago when stuff went down and we were shut down. This is why, so that is definitely there. And I've seen a lot of liberal friends, the way that they have reacted to this is there is a but right after the condolence.
Yeah, there's a but. There's no but. If you say but, you are actually supporting fascism. Sorry. I don't care. Like the psychologist comes on and says, I got you right now, Robert. I don't care if the psychologist comes on and go, well, the reason people are not mourning this is because they're mad at what he's, bro. So listen, at the very least, this is a fascist incident. They shot someone with a mic. Robert, what do you have to say, brother?
Just to go along with that, my wife. My wife's not very political, right? Yeah. When I met her, she was actually very to the left. And little by little, she started kind of listening to people that I listen to, right? And she was like, you know what, I'm not 100% Trump supporter, I'm not 100% conservative, but I really don't like the way the left is going. And I think part of it is because, you know, we had a child, and she's a mom, and she started looking at life a little differently, but she's still not a quote unquote Republican, okay? And she wasn't a fan of Charlie Kirk. Not that she didn't like him as a person, she just doesn't like debating. She doesn't like, you know, Crowder, or she doesn't like anyone who's going out to debate because that's not her style. Well, let me tell you something. She's been glued to the television, you know, since yesterday. And I get home and she's like, I just can't believe it, just because I didn't like the guy. But if you listen to what he said, he wasn't saying nothing, you know, like out of, you know, like nothing bad. And then she starts realizing it, that a lot of her friends that she thought were like liberals, right? Because they really never really talk politics a whole lot. All over her feed, people are like, you know, praying for Charlie Kirk, you know, before we found out that he had passed away, and after he did, you know, straight, you know, condemning, and people literally saying that they're done with the party, right? That they're done with the party, you know. And, you know, Jeffree Star was on yesterday as well, and he went off, you know, on a rant as well, you know, talking about how this is just not who we are as Americans. Again, left or right, you shouldn't be happy about this whatsoever. I think we all agree that everyone.
Real quick, I haven't shown these pictures yet. They may be new. Allegedly, these are new images of the person of interest. They could be enhanced with AI. Everything's being enhanced with AI. I don't know why, but you see him there with his book bag. It does look like the same person. Wow. Okay. That's an interesting one. And by the way, folks, I was one of the first people, or the only person I heard report this. He is wearing a shirt right here that everyone's talking about, but the cap he's wearing, it's a logo of DJ John Summit that does festivals, like EDM festivals. That's hard. That's weird, because you can only order those online, right? So people are asking what the logo is on his cap. It looks to be John Summit's logo. I don't know if that means anything, but what do you think, Robert, of this picture?
What's that?
The picture, and we got clearer pictures.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm driving, so I'm just focusing on the road.
Yeah, please do. Slant, I know you're a tough guy, bro. I know you're a tough guy. Are you afraid to express your opinion sometimes?
This is true. This is true. I'm very tough. Yes.
No, are you afraid to express your opinion when you hear things like this?
I mean, I think it's a scary proposition no matter what, because you're like, oh, we're kind of in this, you know, space, even though we didn't really ask for it. We're not, and the slant's not necessarily political.
No,
but it's like, yeah, you know, we even get a lot of strife when we bring up like immigration. We'll have someone for it and someone against it, and then I moderate. You know, we get a lot of heat, man. We get a lot of heat, and we're always trying to tell people just to keep the chat lively. I mean, Julissa knows. Julissa's a member of the channel. She's a member of yours. We say keep the chat lively, but keep it civil. You know, civility it's a must. And so that being said, I think there's other braver people that are already have been doing this, and you know, I don't think this is gonna. I think people are just gonna get louder as far as not being silent, and I think there's also gonna be probably is gonna be a little bit more of this. Unfortunately, I hate to say that.
Robert, you are more. Did I say this? You are more conservative than I am. I'm getting a really bad echo. Try to get that, man. You're more. I think. I don't know. Maybe you're not. Like, you're more involved. Do you think?
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think there's going to be a retaliation? Unfortunately, do you think that's going to happen? I don't personally, but I don't think the right is really the party that is violent. I really don't.
Well,
As
to be
much as
fair,
people think it is.
there has been, yahoos on both sides, right? There are there are crazies on both sides, and what I'm hoping is that because as a whole, I feel the right has not been calling for violence the way the other side has been, that we don't get as much. In regards to, I just want to address something
Yeah.
about being afraid. Okay, I guarantee you that Charlie Kirk, every day that he got up, right, I'm sure he was always worried. That's why he had a bulletproof vest on, right? That's why there's talk that it was a ricochet that actually hit him if you actually slow down that video, right? So the man had his bulletproof vest because I'm sure he was afraid for his life. What Charlie Kirk had was courage, right? He had the courage to go out there and debate people constantly. What I'm afraid of is that some people will, and I'm afraid that, one side has become militant in trying to cause damage, unfortunately. And I think that, like, Ben Shapiro just announced that he's canceling his college tour, at least a few of them, because I'm sure there's a lot of threats out there. And I'm hoping that, let me be very clear, I don't want violence. The truth is, when I said I want him avenged, I don't mean avenged, because I want people to go out and do crazy things, okay? But you know what? I want anyone on either side that has been asking for violence, okay, if there's been any politicians that have been calling the other side, whether it's a Yahtzee or a commie or whatever it is, I want those people voted out of office. That's the best way you could avenge Charlie, okay, is to go out there and vote, okay? And the truth is, I don't care what side you vote on, I really do believe that voting on both sides is good, okay? I'm the type of guy, I'm more libertarian than anything, but I do want, I want people to be held responsible for the amount of rhetoric they have been calling out for since 2016.
What do you see to the people?
And let's be honest, even before 2016, people forget that even when W was president, they were calling him the same thing. It just got out of control.
I am going to tell you, I'm going to totally back
the golden escalator, right?
I'm going to totally
it
back
automatically became you're the devil.
Robert, I'm going to back you up on that. People have low memory. People were vilifying W big time. The only problem is they were calling him everything. Yahtzee, the same words we've heard. They were doing it to Schwarzenegger when he was running. I don't know why he's acting like Schwarzenegger was a Yahtzee when he was running here in California. I was there. I was campaigning with him. These crazy people would call him Yahtzee, misogynist, all the words. I don't know why he doesn't remember that. But yeah, it started since back then. This is just, anything to add there, Paul?
At the end of the day, maybe we should take a page from Charlie. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? I said maybe we take a page from I said we take a page from Charlie. And you know what? What we should really be doing is what we're doing now. And Louis, I would encourage you to invite people from the other side that might have a different perspective as you, okay? And have them come on as well and talk.
They don't show up.
As long as they don't get, crazy. Right? Well,
they don't show
as long as they don't get crazy and start, insulting people, I think that the best thing we need to do is have dialogue on all sides, because that's
Paulie,
wait, hold on. Do people forget that the NAACP actually went to the Supreme Court to defend the KKK? They literally did that because they believe that the KKK had the right of speech. They had freedom of speech. You could disagree with people, and that's the thing is, you could disagree with anybody, but everybody has the right to speak, as long as you're not calling for bodily harm to anyone. All right, say whatever you want. You know what? And I want dumb people to talk, because the more the dumb people talk, the better. You realize how idiotic some of these people's beliefs are. So you know what? Invite people, have a dialogue.
We
What? If
do.
someone comes in here, like,
Oh yeah. Paulie could back me up on this. How many haters have you had on the channel that when you give them the link to come in, they don't show up?
Yeah.
They don't show up. It's keyboard warriorism. This lady that went over there on TikTok, these cows, with the nose ring and everything, that want to tell me what is racist and everything. They don't debate. You call them. They turn off their comments. You know what I mean?
no, it's true. Just real quick, I just want to add something, and I'm going to have to let you guys go. But
Okay.
Louis, let me tell you something. 15 years ago, I would sit down at those junket tables, and Devin Faraci and I would argue, go back and forth because of how hardcore of a lefty he was and how I was a righty. And at the end of the day, we would go to a bar and we would have a drink, just like all the other junketeers back in the day, that we would all go sit down and have a thing, or whenever we would fly out to a set visit, right? It's okay to have different opinions. Okay, as long as you're not hurting anyone, then knock yourself out. At the end of the day, you have a beer, or in my case, a rum and coke. Okay, but that's what needs to happen. And I'm hoping that with the death of Charlie, we end up getting a million more Charlie Kirks, because if there's one thing that's going to happen, a lot of these young kids have become radicalized, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. People who were part of Turning Point, okay, have now realized that their leader, right? This is kind of like, he's not an MLK, right? But he's an MLK for some people, right? This guy he wasn't a civil rights leader, but he was definitely a community organizer that was out there organizing and getting people to go out and vote and stuff, right? So he has millions of followers. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be more Charlie Kirks out there. I think there's going to be more than ever because of his death. If they thought that by eliminating him, they were going to shut him. No, it's kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi. You could strike me down and I'll be more powerful than you could ever imagine. I really believe that's going to happen with Charlie Kirk.
Hey, no nerd references here on Nerd Report, dude. Okay? No nerd references here on Nerd Report. Well, I'll let you go. Keep listening to us. Robert, thank you very much. Atomic Water.
Hey, listen, everyone. Hug your children. And someone that you might disagree with, give them a call and tell them you're still okay. Because as a society, we have to get better.
Sounds good to me, bro. You can't disagree. Talk to you later, brother.
All right, brother. Bye.
So Slat, it seems like these are actually new images released of the person. This one, from what I understand, was AI enhanced. So I don't know, not very much you could tell from those images, right?
God, I can't believe I was muted. You were missing. It was gold. What I was saying was gold.
Give us that gold again.
Me and Romy, my lady, we watch a lot of true crime.
Yeah.
And it's all gonna come out, like all the CCTVs, all the footage, all the investigation in regards to tracking this person's entrance and exits. We're gonna get that footage and video. So this is just the beginning. And you got to understand, it takes a minute, guys. But law enforcement has solved crimes just based on video surveillance alone. There's always cameras all over. Unless
are we gonna get the footage?
And I was just gonna say, unless this is a little more devious and dark, to where that footage mysteriously disappears, we should get all the answers.
Look, I'll say it. I'll probably get canceled a little bit for it, but that's all right. I think the fact that you could have your opinion and then get ended for it, I think the fact that you could get on a train to try to get home after a long day of work and get ended from someone that has 14 prior arrests, I think that's worse than Epstein. I'm sorry, that's more important than Epstein. This thing should be taken care of more quicker. I don't know what people need to stop this. This is way more important an issue.
Well, yeah, I think one of the biggest issues that people vote on for them and their families is security.
Yes,
It's safety, right? And that way, if you have that, you know that none of the odds are that none of this will ever happen to you in your lifetime. So you can be prosperous, you can raise your family in relative safety, and so when something like this happens, it feels like it's a breakdown of society. I will say a lot of this does happen, unfortunately, every day in Black and brown communities.
Yeah,
That go murders. They get very little media attention.
well, I'm gonna say
And
I was
because look at those 14, like you said, those 14 offenses. That gentleman did. That's 14 different people or 14 different situations.
Yeah.
Not. I'm just putting that out there. It doesn't I'm not justifying any violent act. I'm just saying when you live and are around violence in your neighborhood, or you've been shot at, or you've been stabbed, you have a whole different perspective on violence. And usually you're not the one spouting off, celebrating someone getting shot.
No.
Hands are, if you've been through some shit, you have way more empathy for that person or for those people that got shot, that got beat up, that got stabbed, because you've gone through it. And that was another thing that a buddy of mine, Brandon from the Daily Chella, brought up, because he was shot at, he's been stabbed. I mean, this is not something to celebrate and something to, people have celebrating this stuff. Odds are, they probably have never been in some sort of slap fight, much less. So yeah, man. Again, this speaks to it does speak to a sickness in our society. It really does. But this has just been, unfortunately, this was highly. We saw it all. This, this is a public event.
And also, look, how long have you been in Los Angeles?
I was raised here. I was born in Arizona. So like what, 50 years, over 50 years.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. I've never heard anyone say this, so I'm gonna say it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And back me up if I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the proof in films like Colors and Boys in the Hood. Those are films from the 80s, I believe, maybe early 90s. The drive-by shootings, the gang violence at schools, the school shootings, they've been around since the 80s. And the only reason people are pretending nowadays that it's something new is because the white kids started shooting at each other too now. Okay? So let's just stop with that. Like, it's a now thing. Gun violence has been around for a very long time. No one gave a crap until Columbine. Could we agree on that?
I think there's some truth to that, in that there has been such a disconnect for so long as far as communities being so segregated.
Yeah.
That, again, it was like that serial killer that was killing all the black women and young women in Atlanta in the 80s. No one cared until they really raised a fuss, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and does that still happen? Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I think this is going to sound really strange. I think meth really changed it all.
That's for the
It really did, man. You know, because the great equalizer brings people together.
meth is yeah.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
that's where the lack of a better word, that's where the gringos got down. Cocaine was more of a luxury as far as from middle class to high end people doing cocaine back in the 80s, but then there's crack and then there's meth. My point is that it really kind of ramped up more violence. Why don't I violence? You still look at the stats though, and it's still pretty staggering. And then also too, you look at the stats of black men and women in prison. Black and brown men in prison. And then the answer to reform and being reformed is not just being lenient and letting people out.
No, this is not the honor guard. This, I would imagine, is.
Oh, what do we got here?
Sorry about that. This is, I guess, Air Force 2 arriving in Arizona. I don't know if Kirk was born there, or but maybe that's.
Yeah, he's from, I believe it's from Scottsdale.
Charlie Kirk being only 31,
which is a nice suburb of Phoenix.
Was that young conservative?
I love Scottsdale.
That he impacted so deeply.
He's now inside the mortuary. Doctor, let's talk about that. I mean, so we talk about little kids, but here's a bunch of young adults. These are 30-year-old people now.
Yeah, and really fast with those, just with that exactly, is that those areas are just policed more because they're gangs, or they're that's where the drug cartels have infiltrated in regards to their bases.
Interesting.
That's why, going back to the legal immigration, it's like this administration said, we're going to get rid of all the criminals. The criminals, they're pretty smart as far as not getting caught. That's why that's why they had to expand and okay, let's go get Jose over there at Home Depot because we're not getting the carteles that we want to get. It's like, yeah, well, they probably took off, man, because they're not stupid.
Yeah, it's a situation that needs to be explained because it looks bad, and especially I'm walking around my neighborhood and seeing construction workers, and I say hello to them, and they're looking at me like I'm going to knock them off or something, and that's not a good thing. But these are hardworking people working under the sun. Doing a really good job and everything. And I
think me and you are pretty much on par with that.
Yeah, but an agreements will come in the middle of this conversation and say we're not, we're bad.
Yeah, I could care. Yeah, I could care less. And that's the luxury of being a true independent, is I can't stand both parties, and I don't. This is not like what I talk about every day on the slant. You'll see, we talk about movies and celebrities and all that stuff. And then when we do talk about politics, guys, I have guests from both sides.
You do.
Both sides. So
one thing, you are way better organized than I am.
Well, I saw you and Andy go live yesterday, and I was happy that you guys were live. I know a lot of people.
Yeah, I went live earlier before him, and then he goes, "You want to come on?" And I go, "Yeah, man."
Yeah, that was great. This happened at the end of my live stream, and I was like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna end this live stream. I'm really not equipped to go forward. I don't want to show you the images. I'm not going to show you the video. I just said, you don't come back from something like that. And,
no.
Unfortunately.
By the way, mods, could you please share Slant's channel link so you can give him some support? I think his channel is very underrated, and I believe, even though they say it doesn't exist, I feel like YouTube throttles your views. I really do.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
You and Andy have been so great. Someone's bringing up a good point in regards
Yeah, come
to
on.
just normal people reacting to this, right? The voter is just normal voters, common sense people. They're not going to like people celebrating this gentleman's death. I'm telling you.
No.
I'm telling you know what? And Democratic politicians, they know this. That's like, Newsom.
That's why they're all
Kamala,
coming out.
they put their press releases out right away. But see, this is the problem that they have for years, and then recently been incentivizing their political body, their voting body, to resist, to fight back, stand up. And it's like, okay, but you can't tell them to be violent. You can tell them to go fight legislation, change legislation, go run for a local office. Absolutely. Or even do a non-violent march and fast. Back in the day, Gandhi, MLK, Cesar Chavez, they fasted with Robert F. Kennedy until they got the other side to come to the table and let's do some collective bargaining. It was a fast. That took a lot of fortitude from these leaders.
Let me tell you, bro. There's a lot of people right now, the extreme, and I'm gonna say it, extreme left. They hate Cesar Chavez.
They do.
I've been seeing a lot of hate towards them. It's very, very strange. It's like it's never enough for these people. And and I gotta tell you, earlier I said this, and I'm just saying the truth. Don't shoot the messenger. Slant, you and I and everyone in this channel know in their heart that the demographic of the Democratic Party is the young voter, female and minority. Listen, I'm looking at social media and I'm looking at in the thousands young girls in their 20s saying they would never be a Democrat. And these aren't like girls from the South.
Right.
These are model looking, good looking women and girls, I say girls in their 20s, right? The voting age.
Yeah.
Saying they're done. I see brown guys. I see Hispanics speaking Spanish saying, F this. We ran from this from our country. I'm done. Black people, Asian. It's the party is, even if you support Trump, this is scary because the checks and balances are destroyed. There's probably one party after this now, and it's not the Democratic Party. If their approval rating was 37, it's going to be in the 20s, brother, tomorrow.
So I follow a lot of, and thank you guys, new subscribers in your chat saying they just thank you so much. I follow a lot of, for lack of better words, left of center, very left, Latino media influencers. I think it's important for me so I can see everything, everyone, and what they're doing every day, with any subject matter. And so when they put this up and they excuse it and add the but to their big posts, what I'm seeing every time in all these comments is people saying you're wrong. I've been following you guys forever. You guys are dead wrong. This is now is not the time. If you lost your mind, and why you're going off on this tangent about innocent lives in Palestine or innocent lives in the Congo. It's like, we understand that, but this is different. And so you're seeing every time I look up these big posts, I'm always seeing people wake up and say, no, you guys are wrong. This is not cool what you're posting. It's actually, a lot of misinformation, or you're going off on a tangent that has nothing to do with the death of this person, or the plight of this immigrant, or the law being broken. It's like, no, this is actual facts. I guess what I'm saying is, adding to that is the positive side of social media is that young people they have gone and done their own research. And
Well, yep.
it's also too, let's just forget all that really fast. Let's just forget all that. It's just not natural, like as a human being, like as part of the species, right? Is that when you see tragedy, it's not a natural thing to celebrate it.
No.
Right? Because we're not talking about the end of World War II, the death of Hitler, Idi Amin, some awful dictator, Saddam, like it's not like when I saw a couple weeks ago, they blew up the boat with the drug dealers. I didn't like that. That didn't feel right. It didn't look right. I don't care that you're the drug dealer, you nab them and you take them through you take them through the justice system. I don't know what that was. That was, to me, that was very, very disturbing to see a boat of people being blown up on our waters. I'm like, wait, what are we doing here, man? So I'm just saying, Luis, whether you agree with me or not, it is a natural reaction to coil when someone's celebrating someone's demise or death.
So, Maddie, I appreciate your opinion. This is in regards to like why the Democratic Party probably is going to wake up tomorrow to a 2% approval rating. Maybe the Democrats should do what the Republicans did. Just say Charlie was shot by an angry ex-lover. That's what they said about Pelosi's husband. Joked about it constantly. Well, I don't think the thing is, the people celebrating Kirk's death, I don't think they're joking. But hey, man, you know what? Knock yourself out. Try that. You'll probably get like a -% for the next time. I'm just saying, whatever they're selling is not working. And I think the big problem was running Kamala Harris while calling Trump dumb. And I do agree, Trump cannot construct a sentence very well sometimes, right? But
he's an older man now.
But they also ran Kamala Harris, who cannot construct a word. So if you're going to get someone, you're going to criticize somebody for not being able to construct sentences properly, at least have someone run against them that could construct a word.
So,
because my God, she was dumb. This lady was so dumb. She was a DA. What is going on here? Paulie, with the incident with Jesse Smollett, she went to Twitter and backed them up. This is a DA, a person who's supposed to be an investigator in charge of knowing who's a criminal or not, investigate before coming to conclusions. She went to Twitter and insisted that Jesse Smollett's story was correct. And
she went to bat for him. She went to bat for him.
Without it, and she's a DA or a former DA. Who else did she put in there that's not wasn't supposed to be in there?
Well, she kept a lot of black and brown men longer in jail. That is documented just to
I think John Claude says, yo, Lewis, you said that the FBI you said to the FBI about the shooter hat being John Summit logo. It looks like a John Summit logo to me. And I don't think you can get that at any store. That's what it looks like to me. I think it's 100% a John Summit logo on his hat. Don't get me started on Harris. I mean, how dumb could you be? VP Madam Vice President, how are you going to fix the economy? Well, when I was a kid, I used to mow the lawn. Okay. What is your thought on the stuff happening in Ukraine? Well, when I was a kid, I used to mow the lawn. What are you going to do about illegal immigration? Well, when I was a kid, I used to mow the lawn. That's her debating. How are you going to win with that?
Right. Well, I'll so I didn't finish my thought. That was my bad. But I just looked it up again just to remind me of what Harris did in regards to holding people back in jail longer. opposing the early release of nonviolent prisoners, truancy law enforcement. I mean, she got sued. She really ruined a lot of people's lives. Black people, brown people.
Yeah.
She was just a terrible DA. She was just a terrible record. And I remember saying this when she was trying to run for office. I'm like, don't vote for her. She's absolutely the worst here in California. And she didn't even make it out of the primary, as you know. Tulsi Gabbard destroyed her.
Yeah.
But
and she's Indian too. Tulsi Gabbard is Indian descent.
Yeah, I think it's either Tamil Indian.
And you know what Hillary Clinton called her? A white supremacist. That's all they have. That's all they have. You know what I mean?
So, when you have this type of leadership, then what do you expect? How do you expect their citizens to react? I mean, that's another thing, is that the Democrats haven't put up anyone viable.
No.
That could sway independent voters.
No.
Maybe a Republican or two. What leaders are out there?
They have no one, dude.
They haven't had anyone for a long time.
People look at these people and they think they're clowns, okay? Kamala Harris fights for brown and colored people, like she said. People of color, like they call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right? That she only marries white guys. Okay. ALC. There's racism. Oh, white people bad, white man bad. You only date white guys, dude. John Leguizamo only dates white women, right?
Johnny Legs.
Yeah. He's like, it goes on. Meghan Markle. Racism, white people bad. I only date white people, gingers. That's the pattern with these people over and over and over again.
But they'll say love is blind, man. Come on, man.
No, you could date whoever the F you want. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're talking about your race all the time and this and that, yeah, you need to be called out, bro. I think I'm the only one that's ever said that.
So they're lowering the casket here.
Yeah,
this is live.
No, this isn't live.
Okay, gotcha.
I
haven't seen this yet.
No.
So I wanted to go back to. There's something to be said about holding your tongue until the time is right, right?
Yes.
Having semblance of civility, of context, perspective.
From there is a hearse.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's all right. Perspective is everything. It's like, what? We can argue the merits of, look, the Republicans made fun of Pelosi's, potential assassin. The Republicans have done this. And you know what? Let's say you're 100% right. Now is not the time. There will be a time. But put on your big boy pants, be the leader that you are, and act accordingly. Because if you're correct, all that stuff will be shown to light. You get to talk about the merits of all this in your arguments. But right away, soon as Kirk was had passed, they were coming up with everything under the sun. Besides all the vile celebrations.
Well, let me also say an inconvenient truth. I would bet that half these people celebrating, especially the ones that look like cows, even know who Nancy Pelosi is.
Mm-hmm.
To be thinking, oh, the Republicans did that to Nancy Pelosi. Let me retaliate by celebrating Kirk's death, right? I guarantee you they don't even know a percentage of American history. They're just dumb.
Yeah. There was I think let's be fair, right? They're ignorant to all of history. Like, that's me being very fair. I saw this one influencer, actress, Latina, and she was dead wrong on the history of our political parties. And I wanted to say something, but I'm not gonna reply.
Yeah.
But the founding fathers that wrote the Constitution.
You know,
our the founding fathers. Oh, what's that? That
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, they were vehemently opposed to political parties, and when within 25 years, after the revolution, the parties started taking over, and they were so despondent. They were so Madison, Jefferson, John Adams, and of course George Washington. They were just like, no, this is not what we had wanted. We envisioned, but that's and so I guess my point is that really do your research when you're making these statements about anything in regards to history.
All right, bro. I'm gonna real quick. I want to say thank you to Emily for hooking up that membership, supporting the channel. Thank you very much. Do me a favor, support Latino Slant. I'm gonna end the stream right now. If there's any updates, I'm sure I'll be going live with it and stuff and informing you if I feel it's worthy. I think this is dangerously coming to a no one knows any information. There's not going to be much information coming in anytime soon with this. I'm starting to notice that the FBI may not know much, or it may not be willing to release much. So it's going to be a long ride. I doubt this guy's going to be caught anytime soon. I could be wrong. Paulie, last words before we go.
Take care, everybody. Be a good neighbor. Do something simple like be a good neighbor. It's incredibly difficult to do when you don't want to, and when you deem hard times. We call it do the opposite action. So be a good neighbor. Go be a good neighbor to someone who lives right next to you. Make someone else happy for a minute. That's a good flex. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, be punk rock, right?
Yeah. That's kindness is the new punk rock. That's right.
Holy shit, I love that movie more the more I watch it, by the way. But
yeah, man, that's a great film.
It's a good movie. All right, see y'all. Talk to you later.
Thanks,
Paulie.
everybody.
Bye.
Adios.